Good morning, everybody in Punxsutawney. You know what today is? It's Hog Day.
Thought we were in Miami Beach.
Well, we are not in Punxsutawney. We are in Pittsburgh because this is Boys in the Burgh, the podcast all about Pittsburgh and these boys. My name is Chris Speranza.
My name is JJ Speranza.
And if it isn't obvious from the beginning, because Groundhog's Day is coming up, and Groundhog's Day is such a Pittsburgh staple, we have to talk about the very famous movie with Bill Murray called Groundhog's Day.
Bill freaking Murray, man!
Bill freaking Murray. So, that's definitely something we're going to talk about today and everything like that. JJ, how's been the blizzards in North Carolina?
Last weekend, we were supposed to have a big ice storm, and it didn't happen at all. It was way too warm. The ground was too warm for anything to freeze. And now they're calling for either 1 inch or a full foot of snow this weekend. We'll find out on Friday night.
And Pittsburgh has got a full foot of snow also, and it was crazy because everybody has to stay inside and they have to listen to Boys in the Burgh on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or they have to find us and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok and YouTube. I mean, all those special things that they can find us on, Take the time to do that. Take the time to subscribe.
I will say that I don't have social media right now. Like, it's out there, but I just Googled us on TikTok just to look at the comments. You guys are great on the Kings episode. Thank you for all the frowny love. It was great to read through those memories.
Food sells on TikTok. I will say that right now. When it was between the frowny brownie and the smiley cookie, everyone's just like, oh, frowny brownie was the best. Frowny brownie was the best. Everyone collectively has said the frowny brownie was far superior to the smiley cookie. And there was a lot of people that said that the frowny brownie was like, I forget what the food company was, but Sync, I think, was the food company, like SYNK.
Oh,
maybe?
okay. I honestly don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, a lot of people said that, and a lot of people used to work for Eden Park and Kings and preferred Kings over Eden Park. We've also got some rude comments of people telling me to stop using AI, and stop it. I'm going to keep using AI. I don't care what you say.
Wait, stop using it for what?
Using like the profile photo. Like there's only been two people.
Grow up.
I know. There's only been two. Sorry, I'm not a graphic designer, and there's a shortcut now.
Listen, it makes us look handsome, okay? Just let us roll with it, please.
Exactly. And who cares AI thinks I don't wear glasses, even though I wear them every episode. But I will fix that one day.
Maybe we'll just have to pose on top of the PPG Paints building or something.
Yeah, so perfect. Glad we got that off our chest.
Yeah, let's get into this movie. What was it like watching this movie for you? When was the last time you watched this before this week?
So the movie, it's been a while that I've watched it. And there was one scene in particular that I have to comment about, but I'm just going to wait because you're going to break down the movie. Pretty much not scene by scene, but just like a brief description. But it's been a while since I've seen it. There were a lot slower parts in the movie than I remembered. Like a lot of times where it just dipped down and it was just this for a while.
Yeah, especially in the scenes where he's like trying to like understand Rita and like what she needs and what she wants in a man and stuff, and then like him trying to learn like little things like that. It gets kind of muddled a little bit here and there, but I thought it was a pretty strong movie overall.
Yeah, very strong movie. And it's like one of those things where they don't make comedies like that anymore for theaters because superhero movies, as not Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese says, like superhero movies has ruined the comedy genre because you can't release movies like that anymore in theaters because everyone goes to see the superhero movies.
I mean, this is a time when director Harold Ramis, he's the one that directed this movie. He had just come out with Animal House, Balls, Caddyshack, Stripes, Ghostbusters. Analyze this. This is the director we're talking about. So, of course, this movie in 1993 was going to be plastered all over the place.
It does have that style of that kind of movie now. Now that you mentioned like who the director was, just like a lot of it's like scenes that would happen in the background, like in Animal House, when the guy's playing the guitar and he's just like, "I had myself a flower," like, or whatever he says, and just John Belushi grabs it and destroys the guitar. Like, there are, like, scenes like that in Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, man. It's a great movie, though. Bill Murray as Phil Connors. Obviously, we know Bill Murray is in a ton of movies. He actually had a lot of oh man, I did a little bit of research behind like the filming of this movie. Bill Murray had a lot of like he put a lot of his input in for making this movie. He was also going through a really bad divorce at the time, so he would do things like tell Andy McDowell, who was playing Rita, like, "Hey, I want you to really slap me." And like the
And
kids that were throwing snowballs, the director was like, "I want you to actually pelt him with those snowballs."
so that explains why. Because a note that Carissa and I had, we both watched this together, he looked awful the entire movie,
That
and
would
it
be
was like,
why.
how are women attracted to him? Like, he looks terrible, but
He was going, yeah, man, it was bad.
it's because of the divorce, so that's why he just kinda, like, bags under his eyes and just I don't know, just he did not look good in that movie, but that's life, like, it happens, we all have our down times, I don't blame him for that.
I think that was a part of it. The other part was that he was portraying somebody who was very self-absorbed, unhealthy, like he was just a bad guy, not a bad guy, but he just had a lot of bad stuff going on, and I think that he portrayed that as looking like he did. And toward the end, like whenever he started to smile more and actually like enjoy himself, like he did look a little bit better. I think that was one, the divorce, two, part of the movie was him actually looking better too.
So, we could kinda just start off with the movie. So, he is, very clever writing, Phil the Weatherman, about a movie about a groundhog named Phil that is a weatherman. Clever name right away. Are most Pittsburgh celebrities like that? There's no way. Like, that was the most self-absorbed beginning I've ever seen where he's just like, "Oh, I hate this hotel." And it's like the Hotel Pennsylvanian or whatever it was called.
Well, let's even back it up before that. Let's go back to like the first couple of scenes whenever he's like doing the weather forecast and he's just like, yeah, fourth year in a row. Can't wait to go back. So stinking excited. It was like right from the get go, you're like, this guy is a jerk. I hope he gets what's coming to him. And he sure does.
Yep, and in no, I mean to make everything into wrestling, but in wrestling, you wanna know who the bad guy and good guy is right away as soon as they're walking out, and you can tell right away, just like he is not a good person. Right now, we gotta go through a journey, uh, and first thing I noticed, the thing we love about our Pittsburgh movies is the B-roll.
Yep. The city in the background.
And one thing I noticed, no UPMC or Highmark writing on any of those buildings.
No, that was back in the glory days of the 90s. Did you notice the road? I couldn't find where the road was, but after they leave the city, they're driving on this road, and there's just like it's like a road that's up almost in the mountains, and there's a bunch of houses following along with it. You know
Now,
what I'm talking about?
were you trying to figure out if they're on 376 or not?
I think they were on a road between Butler heading over to Jefferson County, where Punxsutawney is. I think that's where that was. 'Cause I think I was on that road before.
Mm, okay.
Or maybe
So,
Butler to Johnstown. It's somewhere in there where it's just like the road is like above all those rolling hills and there's just some houses following along with it.
is Punxsutawney north of Pittsburgh?
Oh man, I didn't even look that up. Oh, let me look that up real quick and keep talking.
Yeah, I'll keep talking. So, yeah, Phil, he's just not excited to go, but you could tell in the beginning of the movie he does have a thing for Rita. It's the only time you could kind of see in his eyes that he has a soft spot. So this whole Rita thing has been. Go ahead, JJ.
It is northwest of the city. So if you're in Butler and you drive straight west toward Philadelphia, it's going to be like right in that area there. It's like, do you know where Du Bois is?
Kinda.
How about Indiana?
Yes.
It's like straight north, probably like 50 miles from Indiana north.
Okay. So now we know where Punxsutawney is. So now you guys know. So you could be there at 3 in the morning drinking alcohol and waiting for a groundhog, which PETA does not want. out there.
Oh, I actually read a funny tidbit that, they didn't film this movie in Punxsutawney, they filmed it in Woodstock, Illinois, which ironically is where most of, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was filmed with, you know that movie? John
Yeah.
Candy? Because it wasn't filmed in Punxsutawney, they actually went out and found a random groundhog and said, "You're gonna be in this movie," because Punxsutawney Phil, like the people in Punxsutawney said, "You're not filming it here. You don't get to use the real Punxsutawney Phil." So they just found a groundhog and said, "Okay, you're in the movie."
I mean, in all reality, like, this is Punxsutawney. Well, they do have a
Untrained,
weird.
Chris, untrained groundhog.
Okay, they do have like a weird religion in like Punxsutawney where they literally do like it's like the Pope to them. Like there's these men that are part of a secrecy of this group, and they all wear top hats and they all wear suits. Maybe not the boss from Christmas Vacation, but you know,
You mean, the Flying Dutchman in SpongeBob?
this groundhog here.
Oh my god. He's barely in the movie, like, it's pretty great, but,
What do you
yeah,
mean barely? He gets saved. He was choking on something and Phil saved him.
well, that's true, that did happen. I oh man, that's, like, way down my notes.
Okay, so they're driving to Punxsutawney and they get there. Phil is all like, "Oh, I'm not staying here." I don't know if you heard what I said before while you're doing research. You can see he has a soft spot for Rita. Rita's a very kind person, and of course, we get the mayor of Schitt's Creek as the cameraman.
Christopher Lloyd, right? Yeah, Chris Elliott, that's it, Chris Elliott.
Christopher Lloyd.
Not Christopher Lloyd, not the guy from,
I have a
uh,
camera that can go back in time.
not the guy from Back to the Future. But Chris Elliott has been in a ton of TV shows and movies. It was cool seeing him, like, that had to have been one of his earlier roles because he looked really young in it.
Yeah, like, if you watch Schitt's Creek and then you watch that, it's like, "Whoa." Like, that must have been, like, one of his first, like, major roles that he got.
Yeah, he pulled it off really well. Like, I feel like in a movie like this where things are happening over and over and over again, you have to have good consistency. Like, you have to have someone making sure that everything is dressed the right way for every scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially in this movie where you gotta make sure there's no, continuity errors because that will just ruin the whole concept of the movie. There is no more in this movie, it's unacceptable to have, like, that Titanic scene where it's like the note was white and then when she opens it, it's yellow. Like, there's no room for that.
No, and Chris Elliott and Andy McDowell, they both do a great job of their inflection each time they say their line over and over again. It's the same way each time, and I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, what's the one thing she says, like, "Phil, over here," or
Where were
like
you? You're missing all the fun.
yeah. And I think fact that the lines repeat over and over again, like Phil Collins, like
Phil
uh,
Connors.
Phil Collins. Oh my god! Can you feel it in the air tonight, Phil?
Yeah, but he ends up staying at Phil Connors ends up staying at a bed and breakfast, which is the best bed and breakfast ever. I've never seen one that busy in my life, and man, it looks like a great place to stay.
Okay, so they do the whole beginning where we start to find out, like how this day is going to go. Uh, oh, I did want to ask you something. Uh, I'll ask you it now. Where did the idea of this kind of story come up? Because it wasn't like a Groundhog's Day thing, because it's been repeated in many movies before, where it's like you live the same day over and over again until you do like the right thing. Like, do you know where that concept came from?
I think there was a movie, I forget which year it was, but it was called 12:01 either PM or AM, and it was that same concept of, like, you do the same thing over and over again, you live the same day until it clicks and you do something right. But there's, like, a bunch of different, like, religious stuff behind it. I think for this movie, they were just trying to make something funny and a romantic comedy that had some deep stuff in it. But I think originally there was a movie or two that had this original plot to it, and they just took it and made it into a comedy.
Yeah, and just like trying to find something that will make it, interesting and that will stick with it. And now you can't like can't talk about Groundhog's Day without hearing like that Sonny and Cher song now, like "I Got You, Babe."
It's actually, I just wrote this down. In 2006, the Library of Congress selected this film for preservation in the National Film Registry because Groundhog Day is it's become part of the English lexicon to mean something monotonous, unpleasant, or repetitive. You know what I
All
mean?
right.
So you literally say, "Oh, it's like Groundhog's Day." Everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, that and it's like a thing where it's weird to talk about now because it's been like 30 years since that movie came out, and it's just like it's not a new term.
It's not. No, it's been around for 30 years.
Yeah. Which is crazy. So, what else do we have here? So he's at the bed and breakfast. "How did you sleep last night?" Whatever, terrible. Do you have a cappuccino machine here?" Like,
Wait. I broke this down.
okay, okay. I'm just going off the top of my noggin. So you take the lead here.
So I Got You, Babe plays. He looks out the window. First guy is the bigger dude at the door that goes, "Hey, you going to see the groundhog?" Mrs. Wilson downstairs, and we know Mrs. Wilson's like, "You want some coffee? You think it's gonna snow? Are you gonna check out?" Like that whole shebang. He walks past the homeless guy, and then Ned Ryerson, and then they go into the filming of Groundhog.
Listen, I can't look at that homeless guy without feeling something now, knowing
Dude,
that that's his last day.
could you imagine watching that movie for the first time, and just being like, "Oh man, he's being nice to the older guy," and like, oh, we'll get to that in a little bit, but what a heartbreaking scene.
It is heartbreaking. And the one thing I put on there was, let's see. Okay. Those festivities that happened
Uh,
during that day, they're hopping. Like they're going nuts. The Pennsylvania polka, of course, is playing. Great song. And just I don't know. What do people even do on Groundhog's Day? They just sit there and wait, I guess.
I mean, there's like events, there's vendors, there's like games. Obviously, people are drinking, have a good time. There is a, I mean, we talked about this last year. If you guys want to go way back to February of 25, Chris and I covered this because like regular Groundhog's Day and like what their festivities entail. But it's a whole day's worth of stuff. And it all starts at like 7 a.m., right when they pull that groundhog out.
The trained groundhog, not the untrained groundhog that they
Dude, I
found on the
was
side.
shocked when I read that. It was like, I forget what the source was, but it was like, yeah, they found a groundhog and they said, "That's it, you're Phil." And that's why, like, in every scene, it's just like freaking out.
So, okay, now you continue before I open my trap and say the wrong scene.
No, you're good. That is the breakdown of what happens first. And then obviously, they do the filming, they get in the car or van to leave, and then the snow has come down, and they're like, "Hey, you have to go back to Punxsutawney."
And then they wake up. "I got you, babe." And he just looks out the window and says, "What the hell?" And then, "Hey, you going to see the groundhog?" And he's just like, "Yesterday I did."
My favorite line in this whole movie was whenever he comes downstairs, he looks at Mrs. Wilson and he goes, "Have you ever had deja vu?" And she goes, "No, but I can check the kitchen." It's an amazing line.
I do remember that line. Oh my god, so funny. But so you can kind of see his cockiness starting to go away of like this is a different change in the system now. So he was wrong about something. So I think that's also something else that contributes towards it. Not to get too not to like try and make this into a school project, but just like,
Let's do it. Why not? You're right. You're absolutely right.
that's when you start to see a change in his cockiness, but it's more of like confusion before like figuring out what I wrote down on here, checks notes, was doing this for over 6 months.
Well, Chris, like we talking like the time span that he was doing that for?
Yes, I know everything happened in a day, but in his time, it happened in like over 6 months. But what do you have?
There has been speculation that, and this is from like people have studied this, people have interviewed the director and like all these different people. It can be anywhere from 14 days all the way to 33 years that he spent in this loop.
And when he said 6 months in the scene where he's like, "I'm a god," like I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh
Oh,
my!"
he says, "I'm a god, not the god." Well, maybe.
But he was just, oh, I heard that and I just lost it. I was like, "What?"
It's a real mind, like, like you kind of eventually put yourself in his shoes, like during those boring parts of like, what would I do? if I lived the same day over and over again for 6 months or years and years.
I would punch Ned. Naturally, I would just punch Ned right in the face.
Ned Ryerson! Ned the what was it? Ned the Sped or something like that?
So, do you think he punched him for 33 straight years?
So, you wanna hear a funny story about that guy, that Ned Ryerson guy?
Oh, I'll tell you my funny thing real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
He was in a movie called Haul Out the Holidays.
Yes, he was.
Oh, is that what you were gonna say?
No, no, if you look at the movies that he's been in, you name it, that guy's been in it. He's been in so many things.
I believe that with that much of a unique voice, and sometimes an actor, you don't have to look handsome to be a Hollywood star. All you got to do is just look weird enough, and it clicks.
They call that a character actor, where you can just play a character to a T.
Like, you know who else was a really good character actor? The guy from The Princess Bride that says inconceivable.
Shoot, yeah, I do not know his name. Ah, anyway, no, he's a really good character actor, and Margot Martindale is another really good one. BoJack Horseman, you'll see why.
So that's the first thing my wife told me was uh she was just like, he's in Haul Out the Holiday. I'm like, he sure is. But in Haul Out the Holiday, not to make it a project about that, he plays like this sophisticated poet that like says poetry all the time. I'm like, that's not him. He's a weirdo. He should just be weird.
I guess so the actor's name is Stephen Topatowski or Topatowski, something like that. The first day of filming, I guess, Bill Murray went to a local bakery and bought every single pastry in the bakery and made this guy hold those pastries, and he walked around and started whipping them at extras and at people watching.
Bill Murray threw him? Oh my
He
god.
bought out the entire bakery, like, spent all that money, and just walked around to all the people that were, like, watching the filming and just started whipping the pastries at them. Like, not handing it to them, whipping it at them.
So this definitely has been happening during a divorce.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
So, okay. So he goes through all that. He finally lives the first day and then wakes up on the second day. And I don't know. You continue. You got the notes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the second day. Actually, so the second day is pretty mundane. He goes through his thing, he breaks the pencil, and he wakes up the next morning and the pencil's back together again. So he's like, "Oh, okay. I know what's happening now. I see what's happening here." So he goes through that third day. Um, is the third day oh, no, no, that's right. The third day is when he pushes the first guy out the door against the wall and calls him pork chop. I laughed so hard at that. He goes, "Listen here, pork chop," and I'm like,
I think he might have went through like a bit of a Chevy Chase phase where, like he was kind of a jerk on set. I don't know if that's real or not, but
well,
was
later, whenever he's, like, doing better and trying to better himself, he says, "Ciao belle," and he starts speaking in, like, Italian, and the big pork chop guy goes, "Ciao." Like, Bill Murray just said, "You're amazing."
well, we all know nice to meet you because we're taking Italian and Duolingo is piacere.
That's right, piacere.
That's
You don't
right.
say ciao unless you're friends with somebody, I guess.
I didn't know that. So you'd be going on your cruise in Italy being like, ciao, ciao.
They'd be like, "American."
What do you think?
Uh,
Salve.
yeah, salve, that's another way to say it. Or buongiorno. Where were we?
Buongiorno.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
so the 3rd day, he also figures out, you can steal money from that truck.
Oh,
So
yeah. Because he knows he counts it down to like, all right, he's going to drop the quarters and then 3, 2, 1 and just takes it.
so the entire movie, he has a ton of money because in that scene, they show how he gets his money every single morning. Like, all the way through to the point where he gets, like, a Rolls Royce. He gets, like, all this different money. Like, he gets all this different stuff through the movie because of that scene. He knows how to get the money. But he is drinking at a, bowling alley. I think he's drinking coffee, and all the 2 other guys are drinking beer. And they are drunk as skunks that night. He walks out and goes, "I'll drive you guys home." But instead of driving them home, they get in a high-speed car chase with the cops over railroad tracks. Remember that?
Yes. So two things. One, because this is going to go on TikTok, we're not going to say the one word. We're just going to say unalive. So we're just going to say what the kids say. And then the other thing was, I was very scared that was going to turn into a vomit scene because I don't like those.
Yeah, he tells the guy, "Do you wanna throw up outside of the car or inside of the car?" And he goes, "Both."
That's a sign that I was just like, "Oh my god, he's gonna throw up in this movie, and I'm gonna be grossed out." But no vomit. I was very happy
Wow.
about that.
And the guy mentioned flapjacks at one point, and they finally, like, crash into something, and the cops pull them over, and he rolls down the window and goes, "Yeah, can we get 2 double cheeseburgers and, oh, flapjacks, yeah." And they show him going to prison. But
Mm, mm, hold on, hold on. There's a reason why I said the unalive thing. Did Bill Murray unalive a cop?
on the train tracks?
Because he got off the train tracks, but the cop car didn't.
You know what? That's a really good question because I didn't show that.
I know. I think the cop is unalived because of that.
Do we really have to say unalived? It's okay
We
if we have to.
we have to. We'll make a game out of it. We'll make it fun. What are you
Ugh,
drinking?
damn kids. Lemon Shandy. It's a Food Lion brand beer.
Oh, I did not. I actually don't have any drinks with me, so we can't make a drinking game out of this. I have Southern Tier downstairs, so that's fun.
Downstairs, how's that gonna help us now?
Not gonna help us now.
But he wakes up the next morning after spending a night in jail, and he's back in the bed again. And as everyone knows, we don't have to keep saying it. Every single time he either y something happens, he always wakes up the next morning in bed. D what did you think about the stuff with him and Nancy?
Is Nancy the yeah, that's the girl that he meets, right?
And he goes like, "Where are you from?" And she's well, Lincoln High School, which I think was on Route 30 back in the day.
I think it was for the story. I think it was a way to show like he can get what he wants as long as he remembers everything. And, I think that was a lead up to like him, talking to Rita. First of all, that was a scene where it was just like, okay, he has a thing for Rita because he keeps kissing Nancy and keeps saying Rita. And then you see like he starts to try and memorize things, just like no brownies, no white chocolate. Got it. And, obviously the mistakes with Nancy, like it didn't affect him at all. But the mistakes with Rita, that's when you start to see like stuff happening to him when he starts to unalive himself, JJ.
I called her Thirsty Nancy because he could tell anything he wants to her, and she's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get it though." So good old Thirsty Nancy.
Yeah. And, just like if you had that ability, if you were single, we are married men, we're not going to be a Bill Murray. We're not going through a divorce. But like, we're just like, if you were a single person, you could do that. You could just make something up. And if you mess up, you just try something different the next morning.
True. I think it's true for anybody.
And, of course, I said just like, oh, we're married men, blah, blah, blah. Like, what are we going to do? Live Groundhog's Day and try? Like, that's impossible.
So this is where it slows down a little bit because now it's him going over and over again with Rita, ordering the same drink, cheersing to world peace, talking about French poetry, like, and it leads up to him getting her to the hotel or yeah, back to his room. And each time he can't close it. And the reason why is because, yeah, he's getting slapped every time. He's doing it for his own gain, not for like an actual connection. So Rita is much, much better than he thinks.
Yes, and she can tell when he's, lying or bullcrapping or just trying to, uh, so and so get in her pants. I think the one scene that made it very obvious that he was making stuff up is when he was doing the snowball fight scene. When he's just like,
Oh,
"Oh, you little rascals! I love children. I just want children. Let's play children!" And then like goes onto the snow, and he's like, "Kiss me." It
that's a
worked
rough scene.
yesterday.
That's a rough scene.
It's a very rough
I
scene.
so all that happens and he starts getting very depressed. And before a bunch of weird stuff happens, when he's watching Jeopardy and answering all the questions and just taking swigs of liquor, I was freaking dying.
These are the scenes I'm talking about that director does. It's just stuff that happens in mundane life, but it's just funny because it has nothing to do with the story, but it's just in there.
It's incredible. Oh my gosh. That does lead us to some of the unaliving events. And I have a list of all the stuff that happens, leading off with him kidnapping Phil and driving a truck off of a ravine.
Can I just guess what the next ones are?
Do you have anything to say about that? car scene, like whenever the truck crashes and the guy goes, "I think he's okay," and it explodes, and he goes, "Oh, definitely not now."
I think that scene right there is what makes it Groundhog's Day because you have to involve the groundhog somehow. And that is probably like our dad to this day is just like, the movie Groundhog's Day. Was that the one where he kidnaps the groundhog and drives away? It's like, yes, that is it because that's the connection right there to Groundhog's Day and the specific storyline that's happening. So it puts it all together.
That's true. I love it, man. That is the quintessential. Like, remember that movie Groundhog's Day? Where he kidnaps the groundhog. It's so great, and then the groundhog's driving the car. So funny. Go ahead and guess the order of all the stuff that happens after that.
Okay, so different ways Bill Murray unalived himself. Uh, I'm gonna say, is it the toaster next?
That's one. Yep, that's the first one. Okay,
Okay,
second one.
I'm trying to guess them in order. I know there's one before the toaster.
No, no, there's not.
Oh, there isn't? Okay, so there's the toaster, and then there is him just fall. I see what you're doing now. Not jumping off the building, just kind of floating off the building with a very Bill Murray face.
That happens fourth. There is one in between the toaster and him jumping off the building.
Ooh, what was it? I'll get there. What are ways to unalive myself that I could think?
Don't think too hard. He walks out in front of the truck.
Oh yeah, that's why you were going like
That's
this.
because he kept like doing that, like bye bye, like with his hands.
Walks out in front of the truck and then jumps off the tall building, and then that's when they kind of pull the sheet over his head, and then they're just like, "That's him."
Yeah, yeah, that's the scene. That's it. And then that's the next scene is him going, "I'm a god. I'm not the god. Well, maybe." And he states that he has been stabbed, shot, poisoned, frozen, hung, electrocuted, and burned.
So how do you live life knowing that you have tried every single way to unalive yourself in all of history, basically, and then just be like, "I'm alive still."
I don't being burned alive is not a pleasurable thing from what I've heard. So you've experienced that. You remember those feelings, and you just gotta wake up the next day and go, "Whoa."
Yeah, so, first of all, not to get too r religious, but what god do you gotta believe in that you're just like, "Now I got what is the outside force that is making Groundhog's Day happen?" You know what I mean?
That was actually there's a really big, stink that I read about where the people who were, like, financing the movie were like, "Okay, we get it. We understand the process. Why is this happening? Who's causing this? Like, why is this happening to this guy?" And they decided that they're just gonna leave that up to our imagination.
Oh. Okay, so in other words, they don't know.
Nope, no one knows. It just kinda happened.
Oh.
Um, I did find it cool in that scene. Actually, is that the scene where he has, like, the table full of food and he's just eating a bunch of stuff?
So it's before he does all that stuff. It's when he knows he has no consequences.
That was day 3. That's right. Okay. Um, there is that cool part after he's talking to Rita and he's pulling her around the diner and he's like, "This is Bill. He went to Penn State. And this is Alice. She's from Erie." And they're just name dropping all these different towns in Pennsylvania. And I'm just like, this is amazing. This is Punxsutawney.
That is cool. Like, you gotta be a real Yinzer to know, like, a real Yinzer director, or probably someone that studied it, or went to Pittsburgh that just can, like, off the top of your head, just, like, name a bunch of places.
There is 20 minutes left in the movie. This movie is, I wrote it down. It's like an hour and like 41 minutes long or something. There's 20 minutes left. And now he decides to be a good guy.
Well, I mean, you gotta
20
set
minutes?
you gotta set the stage first, and when he wakes up and it's not Groundhog's Day, I think there's probably, like, 3 minutes of that. Like, just like, "Oh, it's no longer Groundhog's Day, everything's normal now." Kiss, make up, and then walk into the snowy blizzard. Like, that's all they had to
Yeah.
do to end it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. He spent an hour and 20 minutes being a dick.
So he finally decides to start being good. So some of the stuff he does is like one day he just says, "I'll be back." So he, if I remember correctly, we'll play the order game again. He ends up changing a tire for some old ladies.
Ooh, we got a lot that happens before then.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
No,
then we'll back it up.
we're gonna get there. Um, Rita helps him out. She goes back to his room and they're playing cards or whatever, and he like expresses his love for her. So we're starting to see that change happen. The very next scene is he gives money to the homeless guy, brings coffee to the crew. He's starting to get more involved, starts learning piano because he's obviously stealing all that money and can pay for whatever he wants.
Kicks the little girl out of
Yes,
her tray.
that was so funny.
That was amazing. "I'll give you $1,000." "Okay, give me 1 second."
Kicks her out, which means every single day she kicks her out. But that, like, after all of that, he starts learning piano and all that. Um, he's like doing ice carving. I wrote down. So before I go into this, let's talk about the homeless guy scene with all that stuff that happened with him.
Poor guy. That's all I gotta say. Just poor guy. Like, that's when I think that's when you start seeing a change big time with Bill Murray's character is when just like, you realize like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Like you tried to die as many times as you won, but now you're finally seeing someone die over and over and over and over again. And it's just like, oh, like even though I'm not dying right now, maybe one day I'll die. I don't know. Don't mean to make this into a school project, but like,
No, it's true though, because he first off, he gives him money and the guy passes away. He feeds him, he takes him to a diner, orders all this food, they're having a great time, and he performs CPR on him and he still passes. And there's a nurse in the one scene that says, "Sometimes it's just their time." And that's haunting. That is freaking haunting. Like, it doesn't matter what happened that day, that man was supposed to pass away. That's
yeah.
oof, man, goosebumps watching that scene.
In the words of Walt Disney, for every laughter, there's got to be a tear.
That's right. Too much haha, pretty much boohoo.
As Walt Disney said.
As Dr. Kelso from Scrubs says.
Oh, he said that. Is he in the new season of Scrubs? Is he still alive?
He's gonna make a cameo. Yeah, he's still alive. He's still kicking.
Good for him. So bad that Ted, the lawyer, passed away. Like,
That is a shame. He was freaking hilarious.
he was very funny. All right, didn't mean to go on a side tangent about
Oh no. So
the new
I wrote
season.
down Ned Ryerson doesn't like the gays because
Please explain why.
in one scene, Phil gives him a big hug and goes, "I don't know where you're going, Ned, but can you cancel it and we can go get a drink?" And Ned goes, "I gotta go," and like sprints off in the nerdiest way possible and looks back like, "Oh,
Ciao.
ciao." No, so Ned Ryerson's he's not only a weirdo, but he's also like, "Oh, no." All right. That leads us to the events. And yes, changing the tire is a part of it. Saving the kid from falling out of the tree.
Yep. And let me think. First of all, I think it's very funny how the old ladies showing the age of the movie. The young man from the motor club, he changed our tire.
He's the fastest in Franklin County. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Was changing the tire, then saving the kid out of the tree who never once thanked him, and then the guy choking on food, and he saves him.
And then lights a cigarette.
Oh, lights a cigarette for the woman.
Yep.
Wait, is that Nancy?
No, it wasn't Nancy. I had to do a double take. It wasn't.
No, okay. And then I think that's when they finally go to the after party in that hotel.
Yes, with return of Thirsty Nancy hanging out with the camera guy.
Yeah. Oh, and I also forgot. Well, that's more towards the end of the movie. They don't really explain it, but like the wedding couple that they saved.
Oh, in the diner, he walks past and he's like, "Hey, this couple's supposed to get married, but she's having second thoughts."
Yeah, but that's towards the end of the movie, which I have a note about that, and I
Of
think
course
you
you
know
do.
what that. I think you know what that note is.
Because it's inconceivable what they say.
We'll get to it. Okay, so
I mean, no, we're there. They go to the Groundhog Ball. Phil's playing piano. He hops off the piano. He's dancing with Rita, and all these people start walking up to him saying how wonderful he is. Fred and Debbie, what happens with them, Chris, with this newlywed?
they get tickets to WrestleMania, and they said we're gonna be in Pittsburgh anyways. The only note I have is WrestleMania was never once held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was held in Philadelphia, but it's gonna be held in Saudi Arabia. It was held in New Orleans. It's held in wherever else, New York, but never once has WrestleMania taken place in Pittsburgh. You were wrong with this one thing, Groundhog's Day. I get the point of it. There was a Royal Rumble there. JJ and I were there. We were at the most recent Royal Rumble there.
As soon as they said WrestleMania tickets and they went, we're going to be in Pittsburgh anyway, I was like, I just wrote a note, let Chris talk.
Like, how come not WrestleMania, how come we can't have like one SummerSlam? You know what I mean? They're doing stadium shows now. Heinz Field is perfect. They're about to hold, this is my theory, JJ. They're holding the NFL draft in Pittsburgh as a test to at least get like one major event to happen in Pittsburgh and prove like we got the hotels, we got the transportation, but not one WrestleMania has happened in Pittsburgh.
Maybe this is the start of something good.
The movie came out 30 years ago.
I meant with the draft.
Oh, I hope so. So, well,
Did you?
that was my only note on my phone, so I guess I can put that away.
That was your only note? Buff. Okay, I'm glad I took notes then. Did you notice the old technology alert? I guess it's not even technology. Whenever they pull Phil on stage to do the bachelor, pay for your bachelor for the evening, Rita takes out her checkbook and looks to see how much money she has in her account. That's why she says $339.88 because she's literally checking her checkbook.
Wow. And I was going to say, I don't know. First of all, I don't think anybody could get away with doing that kind of, uh, giveaway anymore. I guess you want to call it.
No.
But $338.16. Is that what you said?
$339.88. I'm telling you what, man. Thirsty Nancy was ready to go for it.
That is my electric bill and gas bill together. Like, my God.
$339 is your electric bill?
No, and gas bill combined.
Oh, I get shocked when my electric bill goes over 100.
Well, I own a home now, and we're getting off of Christmas season where there was nothing but Christmas lights everywhere. I was lucky to get away under $200.
I bet it's sad for Carissa, but you're like, thank you, Jesus.
And the hot tub in the back, too, which runs off electricity. Ooh. That is buried in snow right now. And did I debate jumping in during the snowstorm? I certainly did debate that, and I didn't.
Surprised you didn't. That would have been a lot of fun.
Would have been fun, but walking through snow is cold.
Last couple notes. Poor Chris Elliott. They pull him on stage, and someone gets him for 25 cents.
2 bits.
2 bits. I said also, Ned is the best with the cat noises because they're walking past and goes, oh! Yeah. Ned also says, am I right? Or am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right?
What personality? This shows it's like typical salesman stuff. You know what I mean? It's like you get hyped up when someone buys every single thing that's like on the list. And so just I don't know, typical salesman like. And the cat noise was freaking hilarious. That was very funny.
It's so out of left field. Man, the guy who played him did such a great job.
He did. And then what happens is they're laying in bed and then they wake up and it's February 3rd.
That's right. He made it. He's with Rita. They're doing great. And what's that final line, Chris?
I don't know.
Check your notes. Oh, wait a minute.
My only note was about WrestleMania.
So the final line is, let's live here. And then Bill Murray ad-libbed, we'll rent first.
That's funny because I did remember him saying, let's live here and the rent first. That's funny.
Man, what would you like? Okay, if you're telling someone you should watch this movie, out of 10, this is its score, where would you put it?
It's not perfect. Like, it's not a 10 out of 10.
No.
Like, I'd probably give it a solid, like, a respectable 7. I think that'd be it.
What would you rate it best on? Like nostalgia or humor? Like, what would be your best rating for it for that?
I'll probably do nostalgia. That's a pretty good area. but I'm gonna look up on Rotten Tomatoes, see what the score got real quick.
You should. And I agree with you. I think 7 out of 10 is a good score across the board. It's not a perfect movie, but it's not a bad movie. It is a I think of the holiday movies like Charlie Brown for Christmas, and this is one of those movies that for Groundhog Day, you just have to watch it.
All right. Whoa, that is
Should
way,
be it.
way
92, right?
closer than I thought. Wow. So on Rotten Tomatoes, audience score 88%,
Wow.
and by critics 94% tomato.
Ooh, my. Okay. Okay.
That's a huge score. Like for just some, you know, random comedy that's just like, you know, do you ever do this where you read the reviews or the tomato score and you're just like, you know what? I am going to let that sway my decision.
No, I try and watch the movie first and then check the reviews afterwards. Because if I go into it thinking that, I'm gonna be like, no, no. If it's a terrible movie that these guys think it is, like Four Rooms, it gets crucified. But whenever I watched it first, I was like, this is amazing.
There's one movie that I watched before that I was like, okay, I need to see the tomato score because there's no way people think this movie's funny. It was the movie Deck the Halls with Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito. And turns out I was right. The movie's terrible.
I think you've made fun of that movie before.
The movie legitimately made me angry. It was that bad to me. I hated it so much.
Oh man. I do have a couple quick facts from this movie, just like stuff I found, if it's okay, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Tip Top Cafe, which was used in the movie, like in those cafe scenes, it's an actual restaurant. It's still open to this day with all the stuff inside of it, like it was during the movie
Is it in Illinois or is it in Punxsutawney?
in Illinois. It's in Woodstock, Illinois.
Okay, I was just curious about that. Okay.
Yeah. And then other movies that were released that year with Groundhog Day. You ready for this list of movies that were released the same year?
Go ahead.
Free Willy, Jurassic Park, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Schindler's List, and Mrs. Doubtfire, among many, many more.
Those are home runs. Did you say 95 it came out?
93.
93? Okay. Some people call like I think the 90s are like one of the best years for movies cuz it was all original stuff, no like sequels or anything. It just banger after banger after banger. Like that's a pretty big home run list there.
It's incredible. And it's funny because like I've been watching a lot of older like 90s horror movies, quote unquote horror movies, like action movies, because of another podcast I listen to called Random Horror 9, which they just break down random movies. And every 90s movie I've watched has been fun. Like they're not the best movies ever, but they're just a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I need to watch the movie. I've never seen The Fugitive. I know that came out in the 90s. Um Let's see. I know another movie. It came out in the 2000s. I'm sorry this is off topic, but like I need to watch The Departed again.
Watched that recently and in 2026 eyes, it was okay.
I thought it was a pretty watchable movie. That's like everybody in it, like Mark Wahlberg and Leonardo DiCaprio and everyone like that.
Yeah, Matt Damon. Yeah, there's a bunch of people in it. I mean, the cast is incredible. So definitely watch it again and form your own opinion. Don't let me like poo poo on your parade.
Okay, well before we get into the other movies, Groundhog Day, fantastic movie. I would suggest someone watching it who wants to feel nostalgic, or actually a movie just to watch on the holidays. Like, and for how weird Groundhog's Day is, this movie makes it into puts Groundhog Day into the mainstream.
I agree. It's a great movie. It's a fun watch. It makes you get excited for Groundhog Day, and we're gonna see it in a couple days here. February 2nd, right around the corner. Today's what, the 29th?
Yeah, heck yeah. It is the 29th, so Groundhog Day should be coming up, and I don't care what it says. There's gonna be 6 more weeks of winter. It doesn't matter.
I think if you listen to our episode from last year, I have the statistics of like how many winter / new like early springs there are. It's not great. It's mostly winters.
Yeah, but yeah, get ready for 6 more weeks of winter. Happy Groundhog Day, everybody. I've been Chris Speranza,
I've been JJ.
and we'll see Yins real soon.